Job, career challenges, personal problems, relationship issue. When AI can't solve your problems, try a human approach. Ayyo, contact Loy Machedo.
All right, this is going to be a slightly long, drawn-out video, and the reason being is I spoke to a couple of businessmen who are Indians who have businesses in Southeast Asia, who have business in Europe, US. They're involved in export import. They're involved in production, manufacturing. They have businesses also in India. Some of them even have connections with the politicians, in the sense that if you have to open up a business or set up a manufacturing plant or anything, you need to butter the politicians, pay them a good amount of money. So they shared with me a lot of inside tidbits which are not mentioned in the media. There is also the shocking bit that was shared with me as to why Indians are now being hated, not just hated, why they are being banned unofficially in a lot of sectors and in a lot of jobs. I know this will be highly debatable. I invite you to correct me if I'm wrong. I'll be putting it down below. I've written down my notes, actually. So if you see me looking at the screen, I've taken down notes when I spoke to them. And stuff as to why Modi showing that he's strong. Is he actually strong? Why is he doing what he's doing? And finally, how this is going to impact middle class people, how it is going to impact job seekers, especially youngsters. Okay, so watch this video, listen to it, and if you feel any point is no, you're totally wrong, this is total bullshit, just comment down below and tell me, so and so time, so and so timestamp, this is rubbish, or yes, you're right, or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to share with you whatever was spoken, and let's start. Grab your nice little bucket of popcorn, or if you're driving or if you're walking, listen to it and let me know your thoughts. And trust me, when you send me an email or when you send me a message, I pay attention. But do comment down below, because other people will also read it. Okay, so let's start. This first businessman, I was dying to talk to him because he really is not just rich, not just successful. He has lots of people working for him in multiple countries. I don't know. This is after nearly 2.5 months of waiting. Finally, I guess a business trip, going here and there and everything. He finally had a holiday, spending time, and I managed to get him at a casual time. Whenever I used to send him messages before, hey, busy man, traveling, or he would respond late. So he was relaxed. He's saying, yeah, I can talk to you now. And so when I asked him, so how are things going on? The first thing which he mentioned is the seismic shift of people who have money in India. They don't want to be in India. They want to get out of India. He gave me a couple of examples. First, he started off by saying, a lot of Indians have property, family, ancestral property. They have land, whatever. So now, since the government, let's say, for instance, is expanding infrastructure, or let's say a big multinational company or someone, they want that particular plot of land. So if it is worth 10, for example, 10, they will give 50, 60, whatever, even 100 sometimes. Because this land has been, for ages and ages with them, and it's coming in between the road or coming in between the construction, expansion. And before, people would not sell off their land or property because they would be like, no, this is my precious, this thing, want to preserve the identity or the culture or the tradition. Now they are like, fine, go ahead, give me the money. And once the money is given, and that also not in very straightforward terms, they immediately decide to move to countries which are like where you can buy a property and you can rent it out and you can get a citizenship. And he gave me a couple of list of countries where if you invest and you stay there, within 5 years, you get residency, or 3 years, or you get an investor visa. And I was pretty surprised when he told me this. He said, Loy, do you know why I hardly stay in India? He said, one is the air. I was like, the what? I thought you were referring to the iPhone Air. He's saying the air. I said, what about the air? He's saying, it's so clean. He's saying, when you go to these European countries, he's saying the oxygen itself, you will feel different. The environment, the climate, It's not humid, it's not sticky, it's not hot. It's very relaxing. And you can see greenery over greenery. You'll see people, very less people. You say, compare that to India, and you see smog and traffic and people spitting and shitting, and there is garbage here and cows walking there. And by the way, he's Hindu, huh? And the smell, and he's saying when you drive, there's so much of stress, and he's saying it is such a headache. He's saying when you get up in the morning itself, you want to go out for a walk. The smog is there, and the humidity is there, and people are walking, and the smell, and you're like, oh, do I have to go through all this? And then you'll see in some places like Mumbai and all, people are shitting and pissing, and the smell. He's saying there, when you go to Europe, okay, he's saying Norway, Denmark, and you get up in the morning, it is, you feel alive, you feel fresh, you see the beauty, the nature, the greenery. It's like, you open up windows, that's what he gave, and you see that wallpaper. He's saying it's something just like that. The blue sky, the greenery, and he said people, if you go to some of the villages, not the popular destinations, he's saying people are very polite. And he also gave me some examples of places, which he told me not to say, where Indians have never come there, and they are seeing Indians for the first time, and they're very polite. He said they are very, very polite. He's saying they're very nice, they're very courteous. They're not going to judge you on how rich you are. Oh, he's driving an expensive car. He's saying as long as you're courteous, you're nice, they're very nice to you. And even if they are not rich, even if they are not like having a big business, they'll always give you free stuff. He said in some cases they give my children free gifts. He's saying they didn't have to. They gave, sometimes they give flowers, they say welcome, they're very courteous. He's saying, I've got a taste for that. He's saying, do you really think I want to come back to India? Do you really think I want to spend and relax? He's saying, the only reason I come back to India is because I have businesses. I have to check the production. I have to check what is happening. I have to check the financials, the accounts, the people, the production. He's saying, as soon as all that is over, I want to get out. He's saying, I just don't want the drama. He's saying, I don't mind paying someone a bit more. You take the headache, let me relax. He's saying, even my children, he's saying, now my children, they don't want to come back when they go for these holidays. They don't want to come back. And in fact, this is what he told me. He's saying, being a father, I want to provide the best education for my children, the best environment, the best, circumstances. He's saying, I'm actually looking out now for colleges or places where they'll offer the best quality education, and my children will settle down there, and most probably they'll get the citizenship of that country. He's saying, I love my country. I love India. It's not that I don't want. But how do you change people? You can't change people. You can't change the system. Then I was asking him about, then I asked him about BJP, and I asked him about the policies. And he's a BJP supporter. Okay, FYI, he's a BJP supporter. What he said is, I still support the BJP. The BJP, this is what he said. He said the BJP has benefited, their policies have benefited some segments of society, and some it has not. He's saying, for me as a businessman, I get a lot of benefits. I prefer having the BJP there. He's saying, I have the contacts, I have the connections. Yes, you have to pay a little bit extra money if you have to get things done. And he's saying, it's not just the BJP. If it's Congress run or wherever, you go to Kolkata or wherever, whomsoever is in power, you have to keep them happy if you want smooth sailing. He's saying, but I prefer the BJP. I'm not a big fan of Congress. He's saying, because my father and them, they had a lot of headaches with the Congress party. That's his thing. I don't know how far that's true. Okay. So, sorry. But he's saying lately we have been having serious problems, very, very serious problems. And the serious problem, it seems, is Trump's tariff. He's saying initially Modi paraded around holding hands with Donald Trump. He's saying we were invited as a business delegation to support and to show solidarity with the US. And they had predicted that Trump would be lenient towards India. He's saying, but everything just got thrown out of the window after the tariffs came. And he gave me a specific instance of his business partner. He gave me the business name, can't share it. He said, this guy has his factory, to give you an idea, his manufacturing plant, just one of them, is 3 kilometers long. He's saying if you have to go from one end to another. You have to go in a car. It's 3 kilometers long. Like this, he has multiple factories in a couple of places. All right. I'm not giving you specifics because it's a known brand. He's saying this guy was minting money before Trump's tariffs, and he loved Modi. He's saying Modi was like God sent for him. He was minting money, and there was no ceiling. The future looks bright. He was actually talking about billions, reaching that level, billions. Okay, and he said it was a dream come true for him. But ever since Trump slapped on the tariffs, he said his business is so badly affected, so badly. He said, for example, he gave me specifics, but I had to dumb it down, and I'll give you in a way that makes, like, I can share without revealing his details. Let's say the product is $5, $5. That was before Trump's tariffs. And $5, and you can put $1 or whatever and sell it retail. Now he's saying because of all the tariffs and all the price increase with suppliers and everything else, now the cost itself is coming to $10. And by the time he manages to go through customs and manages to go to the final seller in the US, he's saying the product is now $20. He's saying at $20, why would anyone want to buy? He's saying, I myself, if I'm a consumer, I'll not buy. I'll be like, this is so bloody expensive. And he's saying the inventory has been packing up for the last 6 months. And he's saying the losses have been so crazy. He has ended up terminating people from all over, around 2,000 of them. And what's more is 2,000 people, just imagine. He was expanding and now he has to terminate people. And what's more is he also said that, what was it? Now plan B is to set up in India. Okay, open up the shops. And he said, I'll have to sell it off, even if it has to be at a loss. I can't keep the inventory. He's saying, I'm hemorrhaging cash, just maintaining the inventory and insurance and so many other headaches. He's going to open up, roughly maybe, 200, 300, 500, maybe 1,000 stores. He said, he doesn't care how much it takes. He has to get rid of the inventory. He can't stop, And then I asked him about China. Modi went and shook hands with China and all that. Isn't that? He's saying, Loy, come on, man. Who the hell wants to buy Indian goods in China? He's saying you cannot beat China in terms of pricing. You cannot beat China in terms of technology. You cannot beat China in terms of manufacturing. Their government is so, ironclad focused on supporting the Chinese market and the Chinese businesses. They can't. He's saying, you try setting up, this is what he told me, you try setting up a factory or manufacturing plant in India, say Kerala or some other place. Immediately there'll be a strike, there'll be a protest, there'll be some political party. If you don't grease them up and don't keep them happy, you finish. They'll burn the place down, he said. And he's saying, especially in Kerala, he's saying, I find it impossible to run a business there. He's saying, he even said that give me another brand name, 34 or 35 years of, expanding and all that. He's saying, now they're all sick industries. They're all like, they had to employ someone who had to restructure their business, sell off the sick units. He's saying at losses, people who had millions and billions. He's saying they're like, is it worth? Let us save the money and let us retire if this is how it's going to go, because otherwise you're going to go to the dogs. He's saying China, you cannot compete. And Chinese people are not going to buy Indian products. He's saying if you have a superior product, they'll buy a couple of them from you. They'll remove it stitch by stitch. They will actually call the engineers and say, listen, how can we make this for much more cheaper? And before you know it, he's saying within a few weeks, not even months, they will create a replica of what you're selling and they'll mass produce it and they will sell it. And you might end up buying from them only. So he said, he also said that even after all this shake hand and everything, why Modi is constantly going back to US? Because you cannot compete and you can't sell to China. And very important, he said that this is not mentioned in the papers. He said because I also had to cut down on staff and I had to terminate people. He's saying there's a massive civic unrest in India. Massive. He's saying once upon a time there was a BJP. Oh, he's our leader. He's our god. He's, COVID, take the utensils and go away. BJP and go Corona, go Corona, go. And even when he was speaking about the Kashmir files and Vivek Agnihotri, oh, that propaganda movie, they brought all the Hindus together, Jai Shri Ram and Jai Shri Ram, he's shouting, we will destroy the Muslims and love jihad. And he said, he actually told me this. He said a lot of black money was being channelized to create these propaganda movies so that they would, make money, and that black money becomes white. Okay. I don't know how it actually works, but this is what he said. And he said there are a lot of investors. He's saying, what gave this Vivek Agnihotri so much of guts to make the other movie is because he had the backing of the political parties. They wanted to, how do you advertise? How do you, market your political party or ideologies? He's saying through movies. That's how the Hindutva brand, that movie, even Chawa, Aurangzeb is bad and the Mughals are bad and we Hindus are good. He's Hindu himself, by the way. He's saying all that was good, all that was fine. I was very happy that our Hindu religion is spreading. He's saying because I don't have any vested interest in other religions. But he's saying, end of the day, religion is not going to feed you. Okay, this Baba Ramdev and all that, they're going to become, like he even said, they can become billionaires and trillionaires. He's saying because of the right political connections. He's saying even me, how am I expanding? He's saying I keep the right political people happy, and they want me to scratch their back. If I want my back to be scratched, I have to scratch their back. He's saying only thing is it is very expensive. Even a well-to-do businessman can't afford, because you have to really grease them up, and it's not just one person. There's multiple levels. Obviously, they're not going to mention this in the papers or media. So he said even Yusuf Ali, when he wanted to expand, he had to keep Yogi, that Yogi, bald guy, happy. Okay. It's not out of the goodness of his heart that Yogi suddenly invited a Muslim, and that also a Keralite. Okay. He also told me North Indians are exceptionally racist towards South Indians. And I'll come to that. I'll come to that as to why Indians are facing problems. So he said, North Indians hate South Indians. They just can't bear their guts. They don't like them. Okay. There's always that clash. And, oh, you're black, you're dark. Oh, you're a dumbass, And what he said is, but at the end of the day, these South Indians, you can make fun of their color, you can make fun of how they look and how they sound and they smell and whatever. Okay, Bollywood will always show Katrina Kaif and slim white skin and long hair and perfect body and item females. He's saying while South India will show normal, traditional Keralite, typical looking like a Indian. He's saying, but at the end of the day, how much of fakery sells? It doesn't sell. Vivek Agnihotри's movie, which was a propaganda movie, he said worked that time. He's saying now it doesn't work at all because people are fed up. How does this propaganda, how does Hindu being great and Muslims being bad and whatever, how does the propaganda movie feed you? Does it give you a job? Does it give you a salary? Does it give your bring food to the table? Does it help your future? Does it help your father, mother? He's saying even when your father, mother is sick, you have to take them to the hospital, you have to pay money. If you go to a government hospital, you have to wait. And by the time, do you have that means? He's saying people are fed up. He's saying the only person who made money end of the day was Vivek Agnihotri and these investors, not the Hindu community, not the normal lay people. They are all being used. He's saying that is why do you think BJP and this time, he's saying before, when the Kashmir files came, the BJP and all the BJP leaders and all wearing saffron and all were Jai Shri Ram, they were crowding the theaters and people were crying and saying, okay, Hindu Pandits. He's saying Hindu Pandits got zero. Vivek Agnihotri got millions. The investors and the political party, they got millions. They got votes. They became popular. However, they realize now the tide has changed. The shift has changed. There's infighting between BJP people themselves. They can't seem to agree. And he's saying it's become so bad that now they are bitching off their own secrets and getting their own people arrested. He's saying Modi is finding it hard to hold, the BJP, the powers that be, to hold the political parties together. They're breaking up. And why they are breaking up is because now people want jobs, now people want salaries, now people want money, and you can't give them jobs, you can't give them a salary. How much are they going to sit on the bikes and raise the orange flag and shout Jai Shri Ram or BJP? End of the day, when they come back home, there is a wife, there are kids, there is a mother, there's a father, they have to eat some food. And you have to pay these people money. They don't come for free. So the question is, how long? How long are you going to keep just having these political agendas? He said, even then I asked him, did Vivek Agnihotri must have lost millions? He said, nothing. Yeah, that is all bullshit. He's saying he'll show that he lost money. Oh, I put my house down and I've lost money and I need money badly. He's saying he's just trying to save face. He will make sure that hardly any taxes paid, hardly any expenses are given. He will pocket all the money he can and his investors, and he'll try to save face without having to pay any extra tax. However, his image as a movie maker, as someone who can relate to the audience, is completely damaged. People are fed up of him. He is exploiting others, and people have realized. That is why now he's going to all the podcasts and begging people, oh, please, please, please. Nobody likes him. He's just being used as a puppet. He's a businessman. I pay you this much, you give me ROI. Okay. Then coming to the Indians abroad. Now, this was the part which took me off by a little bit of surprise. He said that, he's saying, Loy, wherever our Indians go, they will completely destroy that place. He's saying, I don't know, it is like a kind of a virus, zombie movies. When the virus goes, everyone gets infected. He's saying, this is what he told me. He's saying, if I go abroad and I want to set up a business and I employ these whites, okay, these Goras or whatever, he's saying, yes, they are laid back. Yes, they cannot work hard as Indians. Yes, they will only work how much and they go back home and they want plenty of benefits. And yes, they are very, very expensive. He said, completely agree on that. Indians are way better in all these areas. He's saying, and given a choice, any day, a Gora can never match an Indian. Employing one white is like employing, white means Westerner, is like employing 5 Indians. He's saying, but employing Indians comes with a lot of headache. And the only way you can manage an Indian is if you have an Indian manager, and you have to make sure that these Indians don't get the air of the Western rights, privileges. Otherwise, it becomes a headache. And I'll explain why. He's saying Indians, they are very clannish, they are very racist, they are very ungrateful. He's saying initially when they want the job, they'll be, please sir, oh, I beg you, and they'll cry and all that. Once after you give them a job, they forget where they came from. And while working for the job, he's saying they are constantly just looking when they can leave the job, go somewhere else, even after you invested money into their training and all that. So he's saying, I find it, that patriotism that I have towards my own Indian brothers and sisters, he's saying that goes because they're ungrateful. And today's day and age, he's saying the headache is these guys go on social media and they start bad mouthing companies. He's saying, so I made sure that I took a very strong legal binding from them that you don't do all this nonsense. And I give them contractual employment. You work for so-and-so time. And if you break the contract, you have to refund because you violated the terms of employment. And he said the other problem is, which because he has business friends and contacts, he said wherever our Indians go, like New Zealand and Australia, before they were very happy to have Indians because they were hardworking and they were really contributing to the economy. He said now it's become a mess. He's saying because where there's a standard wage, Indians always undercut the market and they are ready to work for less. They are ready to work for cheap. They are ready to work extras, that also for free, to prove themselves, which he said a citizen of that country will never do. And wherever Indians go, they will only want to bring Indians. He's saying if I employ an Indian manager and I just give him all the authority, he'll only employ Indians. He doesn't want to employ Goras because he doesn't know how to deal with Goras. He's saying, so that is another issue I'm facing. And he said lately, it has all this dancing and singing and religious festivals and Ganpati and Ganesh festivals. And he's saying, in as much as I feel happy that our Hindu culture is expanding, our Hindu culture is getting its recognition. He's saying, But when you start doing all the dancing and you take statues and you pollute the river, and he's saying, he gave me his example. He said, I left India, I go abroad because I want peace and calm. I don't want noise, I don't want pollution, I don't want all the drama, all the politics that our Indians give. He's saying, now these people where you went away from them to have a peace of mind, they are bringing the same nonsense. They are bringing the pollution. They are bringing the dirt. He's saying it's not just the dirt of spitting pan and pissing on the street. He's saying I've literally seen some of our Indians are pissing on the roads at the side because they are traveling long distance. They just park at the road and they piss. And he's saying, yeah, you can say that, oh, why Europeans don't piss and all that. He's saying, you stand out as being a guest in that country. So they can identify you and you are being the brand ambassador. It ruins the image. And he said, do you know the number of Indians that have now come to Canada, that have come to Australia? He's saying, you literally feel this is not Canada, this is India. You'll see Sardars, you'll see Indians, you'll see, he's saying there are religious festivals. And he's saying even more worse than that is the noise pollution. He's saying, I went to India for a business trip to, I think he said Bangalore or somewhere, not too sure. He's saying in the night, suddenly there are firecrackers, suddenly there's explosion, 1 o'clock night. He's saying nobody gives a damn. They will shout, they'll scream, you put your head out of the balcony and there is a smoke of the firecrackers, and he's saying complete destruction. And he's saying those beaches, if you go in some places, the Ganpati, when they throw that statue, he's saying tons of statues. You will be horrified. Like, what are you doing? He's saying it has come to a level where no educated Hindu, no educated businessman, no educated Indian will tolerate all this. The smoke, the fire, the firecrackers, the. He's saying even if our Indians go to a park or to a picnic, he's saying they will put a loud music there and you'll hear some Indian music and they'll be dancing all together. And after they leave, they don't clean up. All the garbage, all the paper, all this thing is just there. He's saying, I've even seen Indians, sometimes they just throw the garbage and they walk off. He's saying, this makes me ashamed. He's saying, because I get identified as an Indian. Obviously, they don't know he's a businessman. He's saying it ruins the image of our Indians. And he's saying, now, he's saying, before when I was to travel, when I was to meet people, hey, Indians and, in other countries, he's saying, where they don't know about Indians or they've never seen an Indian, they are very courteous. They are very curious. They're like, wow, you're from India. He's saying, but places like Canada or Australia or New Zealand, when I go there, Indian, they're like, the immigration officer, he's saying that Akshay Kumar, oh, you're from Modi, India, Modi. He's saying nobody says that, nobody cares about it. They just want to know how much money do you have, how much money that you're putting here, that's about it. And then the last and few final points, which he mentioned is, he said, now I've also noticed, this is what he said, I've noticed that our Indians, once they go abroad, they want the best of the West, but they still want India. They want to identify. He said, how do you like when you go abroad and you identify yourself as, I'm an Indian, or we are from India, or you join groups that say the Indian Association in so-and-so. So you're not blending in. You're not, like in Canada, you're not blending in as Canadians. You're trying to create your own Indian community. The Indian Association, the Hindu Association. He's saying, there immediately you're creating a divide. And then that is why people don't like you. He's saying, just as when I go to London, this is what he said, when I go to London and I'm walking on the street and I can see all Muslims, Afghanis or Pakistanis, and they put their carpet and they're praying, and they will not allow you to walk. He's saying, I don't appreciate that. He's saying, I came to the UK to see United Kingdom, not Pakistan. That's what he said. That's his this thing. He's saying, and when you do your religion publicly for show, oh, we are holy, oh, we are this. Now our Hindus are doing it. He's saying it is inconvenient for everyone. We don't like it. So when you identify yourself as an Indian, you mingle only with Indians, you bring out your Indian festivals, you bring out your Indian traditional dress, but then you want Western benefits. He's saying people don't appreciate. And given the fact that they are charging lesser incomes or salaries, especially the new ones, people feel, yes, you're taking my jobs. You are taking my job away from me, where I could get, let's say, $15 an hour or $20 an hour. You're ready to work for $8 or $7, same job and more time. You're saying, don't expect positive comments. And what's even more is the girls are actually being encouraged, those daughters and all that, to become like more like feminists. Okay, fine. That is perfectly fine. You want to be independent. But then they don't want to marry Indians. They want to identify as Indians. They want to be with Indians. But they want to, if they want to marry, especially girls who are just coming from India, they're always looking for someone white skin, or they're looking for someone Indian but very rich. They don't want a normal life. They don't want an average life. They don't want a simple life. No, big money, big dreams, big everything. You're saying it's become commercial. It's just become business. You're saying while the boys, yeah, for them, when they see all these blonde females, white skin, you're saying you can't help it. Our Indians go crazy for white skin. Boys have a different agenda. They just want arm candy, or they're looking for someone they can brag about. The ones who are genuine and want to marry, he's saying they find it very hard, because the Indian girls will evaluate them based on bank statements or career path or financial security, or how does it benefit my entire family in terms of prestige. So these were the things that he has said. I think I've covered most of the points. And yeah, one final thing before concluding, he said, where our Indian politicians keep preaching about, be in India, make India great, and live in India and all that. He's saying every politician I know, they are putting their children abroad in Ivy League colleges. They are setting up businesses and their children are running it there. They're taking all the money which they can be taxed. Either they're transferring crypto or some hidden way where they don't have to pay tax. And their children, they want them to get white passports and white education and white qualification. And he's saying they want their children to have a white life, white passport, white everything. But the rest of the other people and the Indians, you be here and you work here and make India great, apparently. So this is what he has stated. I don't know how far will you agree, not agree, but this is the information he gave me. Let me know your thoughts, whether what he has said is true or false. Remember, this has been compiled not just by one businessman, but I spoke to a couple of them. But when I'm saying it, I go it with one smooth flow. Let me know what are your opinions, because I definitely read them in the comment section below. Having said that, you guys take care. This is me signing off. Yeah.